Responding to migration requires coordinated efforts that go beyond the capacity of an individual country. This is why the Prague Process should be commended for its inclusiveness. In this initiative, we have 50 states. They might have very different perspectives, but nevertheless, they work together to ensure international stability and cooperation. The EU institutions recognize the contribution of the Prague Process to enhancing cooperation on migration in the region.
I believe that this workshop will be beneficial for all of you involved and look forward to the conclusions of the meeting.
We are talking about migration flows, and it's good to know in advance what's ahead of you. It's security aspects and it's purely practical things. We need to make forecasts so we have the accommodation ready for migrants. Once they arrive, they have to have beds and they have to have food. So all of that has to be taken into consideration, because that also translates into funds and money that you need to reserve for special circumstances. So just be ready, know, and once you know, you can also act. You can take political decisions, you can take preventive measures, and you can just prepare for things to be.
The Prague Process is a leading entity with cooperating among migration experts, but not only from Europe, but from other countries, Euro-Asia countries, from Russia, from Turkey. So there are many participants that have realized that without the unique and full cooperation among countries, there is no migration countermeasures.
Irregularity, terrorism, security narrative, these are all common frames, and one sees less about the economic benefits, which actually, when one looks at migration, generally speaking, are very prominent.
The conflicts in the European neighborhood had caused in past years surge of migration wave, which became an important political topic across the continent, across the European Union. And the benefit is that people can share the experience, and the country here has been very much affected with the migration and has played an important role in helping the EU to tackle the problem and look for solutions.
The first thing that the countries should do is to work according to the law. If the law is not right, then they should change the law, but not to allow themselves to work outside of the law and the international legal obligations that each country has. So that's the first thing. When we get back to that kind of reality, then we can talk about changing of the policies and practices. What the Migration Observatory can help is to assist the governments to come up with their own regional model of management of the migration situation in the Western Balkans.
There are many countries around the globe that have no capacity to collect migration data. Where we have data, still we have problems in terms of timeliness of information, because the data collection requires time, and sometimes we don't know what is happening now as I'm speaking, for instance, and this is crucial if we want to devise effective policy response to migration. We also have problems in granularity, both in time, because most of the time series immigration data are collected on a yearly basis, and sometimes we need additional input throughout the year. But also granularity in terms of space, because the resolution is not enough to understand the local dimension of migration.
The work of the Prague Process and the work on the Migration Observatory can lead to closer cooperation with media to introduce the topic and the legal basis in a better way to them, so that their ability to report objectively about the subject guarantees that the public that takes then influential say on political direction of their country has a good ground for such responsible decisions.
Migration is something which has always happened, and the way that one depicts migration, whether it's in media or in politics, is very much dependent on what one's objectives are. So the instrumentalization of migration for political purposes, I think, is a very normal thing. It's something which has always happened. The most important thing that we need to do is to be aware of when migration is being instrumentalized for political purposes, whether in the media or in our politics, whatever country we may be in.
So I think that this is a great opportunity for everybody participating on this seminar to meet their colleagues, to talk about the positions of the countries, about the possibilities of cooperation, and of course about the friendship that might be set up among those people, which is very important during the cooperation if you need something from the other country as soon as possible. So I very much support this project, and that's why I'm here today. And I delivered the speech at the beginning because I think that it's very valuable, and we will see the results not immediately, but in the brief future we will rely on the good cooperation among countries.